One of the most difficult things for high school athletes, parents, and high school and club coaches is to understand how the different levels of the NCAA Division I, Division II, and Division III work, and what exactly are the differences between these levels. The reality is, most people don't understand the differences, and the ones that do will have such an advantage in the recruiting process if they can target the schools that are the right fit for them. Let's take a look at the chart below. This is the way that most people think the levels of play work. As you can see, all Division I are better than all Division II. All Division II then are better than all Division III. And let's define what we mean by the word better. We mean if they actually were to play a game against one another on a field or on the court, the better team would win. But we also mean other definitions of better. This could include better coaching, better facilities, better money spent on travel and money spent on the athletic programs in general. And also, let's talk about how colleges are grouped into certain levels. The college actually chooses what level they want to be. There is not a governing body that says, well, you qualified to be Division I or you qualified to be Division II. Colleges actually have specific reasons, sometimes based on geography, tradition, or a value on academics, that they choose to participate in a level of play. It doesn't have anything to do with enrollment. It doesn't have anything to do with the desire to be good at academics or to be good at athletics. It's simply a choice the college makes as to what level they want to compete in the NCAA. Now here's what most people do. They think of the best Division I school that they know about, which would be in the far left of this diagram. And then they think about the worst Division III school, which would be in the far right of this diagram. Now, obviously, if those two teams played each other, the game would be a joke. The Division I school is better in every definition of the word better than that Division III school. However, this is not the way the United States college system works. Now, as you can see from this diagram, the gap between the best Division I school and the worst Division III school is the same. As you can see, the key is overlap. There is overlap between the Division I and Division II schools. There is overlap between the Division II and the Division III. There is even a small amount of overlap between the very worst Division I schools and the very best Division III schools. Now let's talk about how academics fit into the piece of this puzzle. So we talked about why Division I and Division II and Division III is an athletic classification and has nothing to do with the academic reputation or ability of that school. There's really three major pockets where you'll find the best academic schools. Now there's always schools outside of these three pockets that are good or that are bad, but these are in general the three places where you're going to find the best schools. The first pocket is at the very left in this diagram, and that's your elite Division I schools that are elite academically and athletically. Think Notre Dame or Stanford. Now, obviously, if you could compete at the schools like Notre Dame and Stanford, that's the best of both worlds. You have not only the academic reputation of this school, but also you're competing on the highest level athletically and the highest level of Division I. The problem is, for a lot of athletes, they're not even close to the ability level athletically to play at this level of Division I. So the other two pockets become target markets for these high academic student athletes. The second pocket is the lower level athletically in Division I, but of course a high level academically. This is your Princeton and your Yale, your Ivy League, your Patriot League schools. While still very competitive athletically, because they do compete in NCAA Division I, they're at the lower end in the scope of the rest of Division I. Now, the third pocket of high academic schools is actually the elite Division III schools. Now, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, these elite Division III schools are also elite athletically compared to the rest of Division III. which really means this is an awesome opportunity for a lot of athletes to compete at a world-known academic institution that also competes on a very high level in NCAA Division III. I assume that NCAA Division II schools are better than NCAA Division III schools, and this is far from the truth. In fact, a lot of schools are NCAA Division II because they need to give athletic scholarships to get people to come to their school. And what I mean by this is they'll give a $5,000 baseball scholarship or a $5,000 football scholarship because if they didn't offer these scholarships, people wouldn't come to their school to major in math or to major in science. That's the biggest draw for their school, is being on a sports team. So you have to ask yourself, would you want to go to a school academically that people wouldn't want to go to unless they had a sports team? Of course not. Sometimes the highest level of Division III chooses to stay in Division III and not move to NCAA Division II or Division I because they know that people already want to come to their school to get an academic degree. They also may choose to not want to have a difference between a student athlete and a regular student. Because at the highest level of Division I, there's definitely a difference between athletes and non-athletes. And the Division III schools embrace the model that all student and student athletes are made equal. Now, where are the worst schools located? These schools are located at the very bottom of each Division I, Division II, and Division III. Now, this presents an interesting problem, as a lot of competitive athletes want to play at the highest level possible, meaning they barely make it to Division II or they barely make it to Division I. The problem is sometimes these are the worst opportunities available. So for many athletes, it's better to play at a school that is academically and athletically excellent at their level versus getting to the next level up, which oftentimes means a school that it doesn't have the quality of academics and athletics that you're looking for. What happens far too often is athletes let ego get in the way of them making the best decision for their college future. And here's what I mean by that. Ego is a thing in sports that makes us great. It is what allows us to stand at the plate and face a better pitcher. It is what allows us to line up across from somebody bigger than us on the football field and feel like you can take them. The problem is, in the athletic recruitment process, if you let your ego drive you saying, I need to play Division I or I need to play Division II, the problem is you might actually be successful and find yourself at a place that isn't the best place for you. So what you want to do is make sure that you have an open mind and make sure that you're choosing this school based on all the merits that it has to offer and not just on this one simple designation of are they Division I, Division II, and Division III. Because the key point is, as we saw today, there's overlap between these divisions. As we just showed you, there's some awesome opportunities out there if you're willing to consider all options with an open mind.